I love having these guests on that are so cultured and they have so much life experience, and it just makes me feel worse
I'm
about
blushing.
myself.
I'm blushing. No, it's good.
But no, well, so we'll jump right into it. I know Michelle has another appointment at 1, but we got plenty of time. Yeah, I have some questions, but I'll kind of let Michelle do the heavy lift on this one since you both know each other already. And since
My
she's so much
pleasure.
more wonderful than me, I'll even let her do the intro
That's
this time because I hate
ridiculous.
doing the intro.
No, but you have to welcome us back, and then you get to say, who do we have on today,
Oh,
Michelle?
okay, I'll do that. Welcome to How the Arts Were Won, Season 4, Episode 4. I think it's Episode 4. Let's do it over.
Who knows?
Welcome to How the Arts Were Won, Season 4, Episode 4. We have a wonderful guest on today, and I'm going to kick it over to Michelle so I don't have to complete the rest of this intro. I'm really bad at intros. I don't know what it is.
I think
I'm good at
I think you're
closing.
just
I'm
yes. I
too
think you're
bad
just
with intros.
afraid. You're afraid of saying his name. I think that's what it is.
I'm going to mispronounce the name. I'll have him say the
Okay.
name. You already say your name.
No, it's Yare. It's just Yare.
Just right. It's like
Okay.
he's like the Russian Cher, really. One name.
One name. That's all you need.
But he's a wonderful author. Well, I'll let you go ahead. Get it.
Yeah, so now I'll give the 20-second version. So he's a Russian-born author, sci-fi specifically, and he's a software engineer by training. After growing up in the Soviet Union and post-Soviet Russia, he immigrated to Vienna in 2005, but he is the author of Tower of Mud and Straw, which is a Nebula Award finalist. And recently he released Sleeping Worlds Have No Memory.
Which is also a Nebula Award.
Yes, also.
finalist now.
Exactly. But yeah, his work speaks to anyone who's ever wrestled with authoritarianism, disinfo, and, just being a writer in these uncertain times. So welcome, Yare.
Thank you, Michelle. Beautifully put. And by the way, Matt, I'm feeling you because I am scared of intros myself. Whenever somebody tells me, like, if I'm in a meeting, right, and like I'm with my agent, and somebody tells me, "Okay, can you describe your book?" I always delegate to my agent. Ed, can you please do it? You do it much better than I do.
Yeah.
I just tend to ramble.
Well, pitching is for me anyway a little bit easier. But the intro sounds so scripted, and I'm just not a good actor. Michelle's much better than me.
I think you're both great actors.
Well, thank you. He's our most complimentary guest so far, so I like him already.
A+.
Yes. I'm curious. You write strictly science fiction, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. It's a mix. So we didn't know what I was writing until recently, right? Because like Michelle said, that's my Sleeping World is my second book. Although I've published a lot of short stories before. My first book came out in 2021. It was Tower of Mud and Straw, and it got nominated for the Nebula, and was a lot of critical feedback, a lot of reviews, and people, they tried to pin down the genre and they couldn't, right? Because it's kind of reminiscent of Gaslamp, but not quite Gaslamp. There are new weird elements. It's not quite new weird. It's not quite science fiction, not quite pure fantasy, and so on. So people tried to put it into some framework and failed mostly. Mm-hmm. So I was under the impression it was Gaslamp, although Gaslamp, strictly speaking, it's a genre where you have London and you have those Victorian dresses. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of adjacent to steampunk, and this is not. There's no London, and it's not set in the Victorian age, so not really Gaslamp. And we couldn't figure it out until one of the editors who made us an offer on the recent novel on Sleeping Worlds Have No Memory, he wrote to me. He wrote a DM on Facebook and said, "Yare, what's up with the Noir novel?" And it dawned on me, it is noir. It is so basically now we position this as science fantasy noir.
Wow.
And noir stands for atmosphere, right? So because in noir movies you have this black and white, and you have those states which are on the border between dreams and reality. You never quite know whether the character is dreaming, and you have those neon signs superimposed on the picture. So again, are those thoughts dreams, or is it reality? And you also have this internal monologue going in many movies. So it's very, very, if noir is your thing, then this vibes very well.
I was going to say it's a question that a lot of authors have, and I'm sure Michelle has asked herself before writing her own stuff. I've asked my own self before. Before you even start writing, when you're conceptualizing the story, you're not really thinking like, or at least most of us, I don't think, are really thinking like, okay, it's this specific genre and I'm going to work in this inside this framework. You're just thinking of the concept and you're going to tell the story you're going to tell and worry about the rest later. I'm not sure which is the better approach, to be honest, when you're writing genre fiction anyway.
Two things to note here, right? The first of all, absolutely, I'm with you. I'm with you in that. My approach is I'm primarily interested in human element, right? I'm interested. It has to be some kind of human problem or state of mind or some interesting character, and this kicks the story, right? And the story can then happen. It can be set in a fantasy world. It can be set in a science fiction world. So this is mostly, I would select the genre based mostly on the feel, right? What is better for the feel? But definitely the inception is the human element, and the story takes on certain genre form later on. But there is one other thing, because publishing is a business as much as anything. And I've got to say, for example, science fantasy noir, where do you even put this on Amazon, right? So you go on Amazon and there is no category for you. There is a category, again, for steampunk. There's a category for Gaslamp. There is no category for noir fiction even.
There's no category for noir sci-fi?
There's no category for noir, period. There's a noir, as far as Amazon is concerned, noir is only for the movies.
Right.
So if you write a noir novel, it'll probably be categorized as crime fiction or thriller or mystery novel and so on. So there is no category for noir. And even if you take noir out of the equation, you're still left with science fantasy, and there's no category for this either. There's a category generally for science fiction, generally for fantasy, and then there's an uber huge category called science fiction and fantasy, only it's not for the combination of both, it's for everything. Like any book which is genre will be put. Yeah. So it's you can't do anything. I spent me and my publisher, we both spent like a week, I think, contemplating that where to put it, and in the end we put it into steampunk and Gaslamp. I mean, it's not steampunk, and it's, like I said, it's not Gaslamp. So the hope is that the sensibilities of the people, reading sensibilities of the people who read Gaslamp and steampunk will somehow align with the novel. Only therein lies another problem, because you have this bestseller list for the category, and of course, top books in this list, they have certain things that appeal, like the screenshots, the thumbnails. They have something that appeals to steampunk readers and to Gaslamp readers, and you have none of that on your cover either. So you belong nowhere as far as your
book is nothing, right? You're genre homeless, and I've that's I don't know if that's a real term, but let's coin it right now on season 4, episode 4, as I mentioned. But no, a lot of writers I think are facing that same problem. I would say in recent years more than ever, because the burden as a writer is coming up with an original story, and the more you're kind of pushed in that direction, to me, the more genre blending happens, and then all of a sudden there's no real place on the shelf for your book. It's like half of it's here and the other half's over there, right? Which is fine. That's how it should be.
Exactly. No, but I mean the genre. I mean, publishing in general actively punishes originality. If you're really original, you get punished for it, because I mean, this is all. I mean, it's difficult. I sound bitter, but I really am not, because it's very clear from a business standpoint that if you have a book publishing business, right? You have your marketing team. So what does the marketing team want? They want, obviously, a new spin on something that they were successful in promoting last year, right? Because they know how to do it. They have the audience built in from the ground up, and this is something a new spin. So they know how to present it to this audience, right? So this is how it works. And if it's not something they marketed last year, if it's something completely out of the left field, then somebody in the acquisitions meeting will say, okay, so what is it? How do we even do that, right? Why do we want to bother? And if you're a big name, then of course everything's fine. If you're not such a big name, if you're kind of beginning, then it's a tough racket. And the thing is, again, I understand this. I completely understand this because it's at the end of the day, it's a business, and you have to run it as a business. But this leaves works which are truly kind of out of the left field in terms of genre, in terms of sensibilities, in terms of some elements of the world building. They're left adrift.
I mean, so I would say you could call yourself maybe a trailblazer, a genre trailblazer.
I hope so. Michelle, I like it. I like it very much, but I hope so. Let's put it this way.
Well, okay, but I think that it's much harder to be a trailblazer today than it was, say, when George Orwell was writing 1984, or, even later than that, Tom Clancy writing The Hunt for Red October. He definitely wrote something that had no genre at the time. And then because of him, the techno thriller became a thing. And now it is a huge portion of fiction publishing. And so do you sometimes wish that you had come up with this like 20 years ago, say in the 80s?
Absolutely. And not even from the perspective of trailblazing, also the amount of fiction which is in the industry nowadays, right now, and we're talking about books, published books, traditionally published books, indie published books, self-published books, AI-authored books, unfinished manuscripts, and so on. The amount is just huge, and it's very, very difficult to stand out in this sea of words. So from many standpoints, I wish I were born earlier. Like I said, I mean, the world was the world is just a scary place, right? Regardless of if we're talking the 70s, the 60s, or right now. It's in Russia, there was one period in time, the 90s, where there was really some hope for a change. But even that time was significantly marred because you had a huge amount of criminal activity. It's very often happens when there is a breath of freedom. Some people use it and to benefit the others, and some people use it to benefit only themselves. Right. So you have all kinds of criminal activity going on. The advent of Russian mafia, which a lot of those elements we see to this day, right? So in Russia, it was always kind of rough. So yeah, I would love to have been born 20 years earlier.
And since you brought it up, why exactly did you leave Russia, and when specifically? And what were the circumstances of your departure? And you can get as into the details as you want.
Well, I don't want to pry, but I also definitely want to pry.
No, I know. That's it. I know the feeling. Right. So I kind of made the decision in 2004. Right. It was Putin was elected for the second term. It was very clear where the country was headed. I mean, it was clear in 1999 or in 2000. It was already very clear because I don't remember if I told this to Michelle last time, but the first ads you saw with Putin were of Putin shaking hands with soldiers. And I mean, it was fine, right? But it kind of sends also a message, right? If this is the first ads which we should do, this sends a message what the general direction will be. So I thought, okay, and I just want to see the world, see other places. And I went to Austria because I visited Austria a couple of times before, and I love the country. And Austrians are very much like Russians in a way that they're very grumpy and if you ask an Austrian how is it going, right? I mean, in the West, the normal answer is great, because it's not really a question, right? It's just, how do you do? How do you do? It's polite. It's polite to answer this question positively. But in Austria, if you answer this question positively, or if you appear over positive, then people will suspect something is wrong with you. So it's normal to be grumpy, right? It's normal to be grumpy, to say, it's okay.
My people. You're moving to Austria. Sounds like a utopia.
Yes, that's what I thought too. Yeah, and it was very difficult actually to switch the universities, because Russian universities, I don't know about the rules right now, but they were quite rigid back then. You couldn't get documents out of the university to submit them to another college. I remember I had some. I don't even remember how I did this. I got some stamped paper from the from the dean, and then filled it out myself and got it signed by the head of the university. I mean, it was a weird stuff. It was some weird stuff.
And you were already writing at this point, fiction?
I've been writing my whole life, so I remember.
Oh, yes. Tell the story of how you were writing since you were a little kid, before you could even write.
I couldn't write, right? But I love the books. And my family, we used to loan books from a local library, which were great books. But they all were, for some reason, wrapped in some kind of cigarette paper. I don't know whether by us or by the library, I don't remember this anymore, but I loved it. It was very tactile, and I loved the words and the stories. And I went to my grandma. She had an old vintage Soviet typewriter, and said, "Grandma, please, you need to type some stories for me." And she was okay, let's do this. And she typed a story for me, and then we get to the end. She said, "Oh, great story! So here you go." No, Grandma, this is not the end. You need to bind this now. It has to be a book. You have to bind this.
Right. And
I also wanted her to wrap it in this cigarette paper, so it would look like a book on loan from the library. That was insanely great time.
Do you still have those books?
I think my parents might still have them.
Wow.
I don't even want to read what I thought or wrote back then. It's it's never.
Well,
and how old were you?
I like 4, maybe.
Okay, well, you're allowed to write some bad manuscripts at 4 years old, being dictated to your grandmother.
Yeah. No.
If you were like 25 and you were writing like weird emo stuff, that's different. But you were 4.
That's my nightmare. I always, whenever I'm writing an email, I always leave the to field empty until I've written the email. I know exactly what I want to write.
Yes.
I double check this.
That is a smart, very wise tip, honestly.
I don't want to press the send button on the, by mistake, and send something out into the void, so it has to be double checked before I put before I fill out the to field. Yeah, but I'm kind of I suffer from OCD, so by the time I get to the to field, I've already read the email like 100,000 times, and I remember this by heart. Even if my email engine crashes, nothing is lost. I can immediately recreate it in great detail.
So, I haven't, if Michelle would allow me.
No, go ahead.
As far as the science fiction that you write, or should I say the sci-fi noir that you write, which is an uncategorizable thing on Amazon, I've learned today. And just to backtrack, I guess because noir is such a cinematic term, right? That hasn't really carried over into publishing, but that's what it is. I'm assuming you're drawing a lot of politics and a lot of like stuff on how you might view the world, socio-politically, I guess, and just kind of layering it in your text.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if intentionally though, because I don't think those things are, unless you're really writing a political thriller, right? Those things worm their way into your writing unintentionally. I'm a strong believer that a lot of ideas come from some kind of collective unconscious, but not in the sense of collective unconscious in one's mind, but like a really collective thing, like a noosphere. And I know this because
which is good, which is a good thing, because otherwise it gets too on the nose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know this because I don't remember who said that. Maybe Stephen King said that good ideas, you don't need to write them down. If you need to write an idea down, it's a worthless idea because you never forget good ideas. That's not the case with me. That's not the case with me, unfortunately. There's a problem. It's a problem because if I'm on a bus or I'm on a train and sometimes an idea just comes to me, if I don't write it down immediately, I'll forget it. And a lot of good ideas which I do write down, I don't remember them 1 hour later. So I sometimes I have this file with novel ideas, short story ideas, and I sometimes pick up this file when I'm starting to work on something new, and I find out, oh my God, this is a great idea. And I don't remember when I came up with this, how I came up with this, but it's worth building upon. So for me, it's like this, and I firmly believe that if you forget a great idea a minute later, then it must have come from some different place, right? It can't come from you because otherwise you'll recall it. So, call it spirituality or new age, but I really believe that some things come. And sometimes I put things in writing and I don't even know why they are there until I get to the later chapter and think, oh my God, I should totally use that element which I put there before. I had no idea why, but now I can use it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I mean, I can ramble on. I just wanted to say that I used to study guitar. And I studied electric guitar under Robert Fripp, who was a longtime collaborator of David Bowie, one of Bowie's heroes, and his primary group is King Crimson, which is a very, very well known in progressive rock circles and art rock circles. And I went to a workshop of his in Italy, and they drove us to some kind of monastery. And the monks were, I guess, on pilgrimage or maybe on vacation. I don't know what monks do when they're not in the monastery. And we slept in the cells, actually. And there was a big place like we called it the ballroom, but it's obviously it was a prayer room of sorts. And each morning would start with us sitting in a perfect circle, everybody facing everybody else, and we just spent 30 minutes in silence. So there was like really a mysterious feel to it, to the whole proceedings. And Fripp's idea has always been that the silence between the notes is much more important than the notes themselves. Basically, what the musician can hope for, the best thing the musician can hope for is to get out of the way of the music or to serve as a perfect conduit for the music. And the more you think about it, the more you try to influence it, the more you fail because it stops being this intuitive, almost improvisational thing. And I firmly believe that it's the same thing, at least to some extent, with literature. Of course, literature has more, to some extent, more rigid structure, right? You have certain rules for the novel or for the short story, which you can break. For example, you almost never write in second person, right? There are some novels written in this way, but this is very, very rare. It almost never works. There are also some rules about atonality in music, but those rules have been very successfully broken, for example, by jazz musicians. So
yes,
I wouldn't say, I can't think, short of the wolf tone, when you play like a string instrument and there's this hideous thing when you hit the string just the right spot. Short of producing a wolf tone, I can't think of any rule in music which cannot be creatively broken. But there are some rules in literature. But still, even though writing has a more rigid framework, still it's I think also that the best thing that the writer can do is to get out of the way of some kind of call it the muse, or I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely every good book that you point to. There's an unspoken story within the story, and I think that's basically what you're saying when it comes to music and to songs. there's a sound in the silence.
Oh yes. Yes, absolutely.
To half quote.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm like half quoting.
That's
Simon and
poetic.
Garfunkel somehow.
Oh.
But there's I'm not quoting them. I'm spitting their words.
Okay.
But there is, right? I think even with movies, you look at some of the best movies and the way you remember it, you're kind of filling in gaps that aren't really there, but that you're kind of imagining because you build out the world based on your own interpretation of it.
Absolutely.
Which I think is fascinating. So that's a really good. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna start using it when I talk to writers and recommend, give them notes. I'm like, this is what you have to do. Very ambiguous.
Go to a monastery.
Yeah. What are you doing in your life if you're not?
What are you doing? Go to Italy. Go to a monastery, and that's it. Yeah.
It's a hard thing to teach, I suppose, too, is how to achieve that in your writing, in your storytelling. Yeah. But I do have one. This is it's an arts and politics podcast. I would like to touch on the politic, if I may, with a K instead of a C. I don't know. The current Russia situation.
Right.
I was honestly proud and blessed to have done this with you, Michelle, over the summer at the University of Texas. We had there's Russian foreign. You can explain it better than I can.
Yeah. Well, no. So it was at the time a State Department sponsored exchange program of young Russian journalists and media professionals. Some of them were still students, so maybe not professional per se, but they were all like a group of 20 of them were here in the U.S. on an exchange program completely funded by the U.S. government. And they spent 3 weeks here in Austin. And, taking classes, working on projects, all that sort of stuff. So Matt was one of the guest speakers and trainers. And so, I mean, it was a great experience.
Teaching them how to lift. No, it was more about pitching. I couldn't teach them how to lift. I can teach them how to do the isolateral pull with the, anyway. No, it was about storytelling and pitching and coming up with ideas. And it was just such a great group of, I don't want to call them kids, but they're way younger than me.
They were. I mean, they were 18 to 30-year-olds. So and just hearing them talk about living in Russia and trying to be a writer and trying to be creative, and it was just they had so much. There was nothing negative or bleak about what they were talking about, even though they could have very easily been negative and bleak about it. What is the current mood, I guess, in terms of the arts in Russia, and how has it been affected by Russia's invasion and all that? And what does it look like, you think, for the future? That's a long question. I'll tag. No, I mean, it's a big question. I also wonder, how has, I mean, I guess that's not the case anymore, but the whole Russia cancel culture thing here in America, right? Where it's okay, we have to throw Tchaikovsky out the window. And of course,
but see, that's died out.
All that.
That died out.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It reversed, but just that the general mood, okay, everything Russian art wise bad. How has that landed on people over there? And if you can speak
of course.
Yeah.
No, this is a multifaceted and very interesting question. First of all, what is the how people feel, how writers feel inside Russia? Well, I mean, a lot of writers whom I know emigrated, and some of them, we know where they immigrated, and some of them we don't even know where they are. So we know that they've immigrated, but they purposefully don't tell where they are in the world. I'm not sure this. I'm not sure this level of security is kind of warranted, or worry for personal security is warranted. But people definitely feel, if the people do that, then they feel safer this way. I'm not sure about the censorship inside the country. I remember my short story collection. I mean, it was not a short story collection. There was this novella, Tower of Monstro, and there was a bunch of short stories. The translation came out in Russia in February 2022, right? So we made the deal with the publisher, I think, in the first half of 2021. Then it was translation and so on. It just came out 1 month before the war. And I don't think that I published did a few interviews, and I think the only thing that I was it was censored. I did an interview for Mir Fantastiki, a huge Russian magazine, that kind of like SFX in Britain, and they removed a couple of sentences. But I think they did this not because they were afraid, but because they sound so. Because I was depressed. February 2022, I was as depressed as it goes, and I think they just removed it
because of the war.
Yeah, because I knew it would happen, right? People didn't believe that, but I knew it would happen. I knew even the day when it would happen. And people were like, no, it won't happen. Come on, nobody's an idiot. But yeah, it will. And I think they removed those sentences because they were afraid it will kind of negatively. It's too bleak. we should take it out. It's just too depressing. People are depressed much more because, of course, you can't live in a country and not see what's happening, right? But the problem with living in Russia is you're a bit depressed all the time. It really went well at the end of Brezhnev's reign. The war was not as cold anymore, and there were some positive developments. But right after Brezhnev's tenure, the economy started going down, right? Started not crashing, but there were some signs that there will be a big crash, which of course happened in the 90s. So Russians are, I think somebody said before the war, like in a positive way, like, we don't care about the sanctions. Russians are used to suffering. They love to suffer. In some ways, this is true. People are depressed, much more depressed than you would regularly be, and there's general feeling like this fatalism, right? I think I talked to Michelle about Russian fatalism. It comes from the place that people don't really believe that something positive can happen in the future, right? So this is why, one of the reasons, like, why haven't you voted this person or that person out of the office? Because people just say, okay, we'll vote them out of the office. It will even be worse afterwards, and somebody.
I hate to tell you, but we're getting that here now. That sort of, I'm totally serious. That sort of mindset, right? It feels like they're all the same at the end of the day.
Exactly. So they're all the same, and because they're all the same, the only thing that can happen is it can get worse.
Does that stifle art, or does that help art? Does that enable?
I don't think it enables art, because the thing is, I recall there was a very popular clip of David Lynch making rounds. I think right after his death, maybe a month ago, right? He said that there's this preconception misconception that suffering is great for art because it really tugs at your heartstrings and you pour your bleeding heart out on the page. But in reality, if you're suffering, it's very difficult to bring yourself to do anything. So I think in some cases, let's put it this way, in some fringe cases, this really helps people create. They really are able to channel their mental state and their soul into creative work. But for the majority of people, this is stifling.
You know what it is? We've confused it. It's the memory of suffering that enables art, not the suffering.
Exactly.
God, I got some great one-liners in this episode.
Amazing one-liners, man.
You're on fire. It's because he just had a birthday, so the wisdom is effervescing.
Getting closer to death. So
I know the feeling. I never celebrate my own birthday. You know,
I would fit in so well in Russian and Vienna culture.
You should come here. You both should come here. You know, this is a.
Oh, we'd love to.
Right.
The memory of suffering, and this is a very important. It's again a multifaceted thought. It's a double layer, double bottom. Because to have a memory of suffering, you have to be doing great, right? Because otherwise, you don't want to remember that, and the memory if you're still suffering. So you have to be doing great to have a memory of suffering.
Right.
Yeah. No, and that's true because oh gosh, I don't remember what I was reading. I think it was George Orwell who said it because he was saying that, and I think it was in 1984 furthermore, that if you are suffering, say you even have a hangnail or you have a broken toe or any of those things, like that just, inflates so much and fills your whole universe such that you can't bother with anything else, and anything else becomes trivial and unimportant, and you're blind to it, And so, yeah, it's only in the aftermath that you can reflect.
Exactly.
And when you're not in that moment of intense, universe filling pain or agony or whatever it is, right? So, yeah.
We're all living in a noir, essentially. Life has become a noir.
Yeah, and
life
one of the best
is a noir.
Yeah,
it's another great.
No, it's not the Humphrey Bogart noir or the.
No, it's not fun romantic.
That's Chinatown, Jack Nicholson style.
Yeah, a little dirtier noir.
Right. This is like
no dinner jackets and champagne and martinis.
Definitely a Chinatown noir. This is more of a father impregnating their daughter noir time. Time we're in.
God.
Perfect.
Exactly. And then in the end,
on that note, this has been lovely, and I mean it. Your latest book is coming out soon, or has already been released, or are you currently writing it?
My latest book has been released in November, and like I said, it was very interesting because Michelle said in the previous podcast that it's a Nebula-nominated novel, and it has been nominated for the Nebula in basically like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this was another instance of predicting the future.
Right. This is your second nomination, right? Your first book was also nominated for a Nebula Award, right?
That's amazing.
And it's cool because
Поздравляю.
Спасибо. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Спасибо.
Well, good.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll put. I'm adding a few things to the show notes, and I'll drop the links to your first book and your second one. Excellent. Well, this has been wonderful, despite the bleakness. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Every day is March Madness.
Every day is March Madness. How about Signal Gate?
That's stuff like that too. Not to get off on a political tangent, but just so you have an understanding of the American mindset. We'll pick a good one for Europe, all right? I promise.
Thank you so much. No, really,
someone who's pro-Europe.
Please.
Right.
Please, I know it's bleak, it's bad. I get it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
All right, I know Michelle she has a thing at one. Thank you again. Yeah, all right, this was great.
Thank you so much.